Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
But I'll moderate it from
But
there.
Nandini, can we have a little bit of light on your face?
Yes, sir. I was just trying to talk towards another side. Just 2 minutes. I'll just set it up.
Yeah. Yeah.
I'll do that. Yeah.
Siddharth, can you check with Diksha? She's lost connection.
Okay, I think we can go live. The live stream has started actually. All right, so good evening and welcome to a new day of the eMeet Your Architecture School session with dqlabs. Very happy to have all of you all here.
Siddharth, can you check with Diksha, please?
Yeah. So very happy to have all of you all here. I'm going to just share my screen and start off with this brief introduction. So the idea of this eMeet Your Architecture School series is primarily to interact with the top management of each school. Keep your options open, understand why you should go to each of these schools and get the best option that suits you, right? So everybody has a different CET rank, a different architecture score, a NATA score, different board marks. People live in different parts of the city or maybe living in some other cities and looking to go into a school somewhere. So the idea of this is to see what matches your requirement, right? Now, very critical that you all need to understand a few things. You need to experience what a school gives you, and you need to see whether that's something that you want, right? So the series gets you to interact with the school, understand their faculty, understand their philosophy, and that philosophy is what's going to shape you for the next 5 years of your life and possibly set you up for the career. So it's a very important decision, number one. Number two, when you apply for the CET counseling or the COMEDK counseling, you are required to put in a list of architecture schools that you would join. So as dqlabs, we have invited some of the top schools to ensure that you can build your list, all right, or to help you build your list. Now, for those of you who have not participated in the 2022 architecture and CET COMEDK process, please watch this webinar, and the link for this deck that I'm sharing, the link for this deck is in the description of this YouTube webinar. So please watch this. I've described the entire CET process, the COMEDK process, the timelines that you can expect, the ranks that you can, the college options that you need to consider. So all of that is there. So please go through this webinar. It's going to be helpful to you all if you have not gone through it already. Today, the school in focus is Aditya Academy of Architecture and Design. Now, Aditya Academy of Architecture and Design is one of those schools which is based in Bangalore. It's based at Yelahanka. I know that they have moved to a great new campus. I've not been there personally myself, but the feedback I've got about the campus is great. And we have the top faculty who are heading the school to talk here. They are here to talk about it. Dr. Ganesh Babu, who heads the school, is here as well. Professor Nandini is here. We've got Professor Siddhartha. And so all of them are going to interact with you and talk to you about the school. Professor Nandini, thank you so much for making it here. It's been very nice to have you here.
Same here. Thanks for inviting all of us.
All right. So looking forward to seeing what your school has in store for our students. So so you can take it away from here. I'm going to start screen sharing. I'm going to allow screen sharing. Yeah, that's allowed.
Diksha?
Yeah.
It would be good if you'll probably introduce yourselves and what y'all do at the school before y'all go further. Okay.
Diksha can start off.
Okay, sir. Okay, sir. My voice is clear?
Yes.
Yeah, we can hear you, Diksha.
Hi, good evening, everyone. I'm architect Diksha Singh, and I'm an assistant professor at AAAD. And I have done my specialization in conservation, architectural conservation. So I will be coordinating to this session. Architecture is an art which one consciously or unconsciously creates aesthetic emotion in the atmosphere, and when this environment produces well-being. They say design is intelligence made visible. As an architect, you design for the present with an awareness of the past for a future, which is essentially unknown. A famous quote by architect Norman Foster. Aspires to give vigorous hands-on program at AAAD with an intent to make pragmatic architects out of raw talent of students who are full of energy and ready to travel an extra mile to understand the architecture in right mix of realistic and imagination. To give logical conclusion to wildest of their ideas, at AAAD, it's more about building technocrats who know how to take the traditional pool of knowledge of building industry to new level. We conduct various events that encourage our students to expand their horizons of learning experience. Our vision is to provide a world-class leadership in the integration of teaching and learning, advancement of the knowledge base through research, and leadership in service and outreach. We at Aditya Academy of Architecture and Design encourage experience-based learning and believe that traveling is undoubtedly an inevitable part of architectural education. It's a process of rebirth of an individual's perspectives and personalities by witnessing it. It promotes disciplined observation, validates and improves the thought process. To give a glimpse of our students' learning through experience, I would like to request architect Siddharth sir to show a small video of a student's Dubai study tour. Over to you, sir.
Niçin bugün kozlaring zabunli sonma canım men borman ku bulma azal tunlarga siri yalla habibi yalla habibi niçin bugün hayoling hazonli tomma canım men borman ku bulma azal dardlarga siri osmondagi oyman dengizdagi durman nasib etgan havasli muhabbatning hayajoning
least about 1 meter diameter, like bore well dug below, and it goes to a depth of at least about 15-20 meters, depending on the soil, right? And if they encounter a hard rock, it's called the edge pile, where the pile comes and sits on the.
دي بركة كعب وهتعملها قصاد الدنيا هتقولها وخد بقى عهد تعدلها سكت كتير خدت ايه مصر بسكوتك ما تستخسرش فيها صوتك بتكتب بكرة بشروطك دي بشرة خير قوم نادي عالصعيدي وابن اخوك البورسعيدي والشباب الاسكندراني اللمة دي لمة رجال وانا هاجي مع السوهاجي والقناوي والسيناوي والمحلاوي اللي مية مية والنوبة الجمال ما توصيش السوايسة الدنيا هايصة كده كده والاسماعيلاوية يا مكان والعدا كلمني عالشرقوة واحنا ويا بعض اقوى واحنا ويا بعض اقوى واملنا كبير نادي عالصعيدي وابن اخوك البورسعيدي والشباب الاسكندراني اللمة دي لمة رجال وانا هاجي مع السوهاجي والقناوي والسيناوي والمحلاوي اللي مية مية والنوبة الجمال ما توصيش السوايسة الدنيا هايصة كده كده والاسماعيلاوية يا مكان والعدا كلمني عالشرقوة واحنا ويا بعض اقوى واحنا ويا بعض اقوى واملنا كبير بحير منوفي أو دمياطي دول أقرب لي من إخواتي حلايب أهل وقرايب ونادلهم روح وأكتر حاجة فيها ميزة نشوف حبايبنا في الجيزة يا مرحب ألف خطوة عزيزة بناس مطروح ونادي عالصعيدي وابن أخوك البورسعيدي والشباب الإسكندراني اللمة دي لمة رجال وانا هاجي مع السوهاجي والقناوي والسيناوي والمحلاوي اللي مية مية والنوبة الجمال ما توصيش السوايسة الدنيا هايصة كده كده والاسماعيلاوية يا مكان والعدا كلمني عالشرقوة واحنا ويا بعض اقوى واحنا ويا بعض اقوى واملنا كبير دي بركة كعب وهتعملها قصاد الدنيا هتقولها وخد بقى عهد تعدلها سكت كتير.
Thank you, sir. Behold the red and gold of the sunset. This is Dubai at its most picturesque when the sun leaves a shimmering blaze of dusk on sails as buildings, boats, and bridges twinkle in the distance all around. What could be a better place to experience the grandeur of architecture and construction than Dubai? That was certainly a very vibrant and a fun-filled study tour. Thank you very much, sir, for taking us through this memory lane. To give a more insight on our college, I would like to request Architect Nandini ma'am, Assistant Professor at AAAD, also an practicing architect with more than 15 years of experience in the field of architecture, landscape design, and interior design. Over to you, ma'am.
Thank you, Diksha, for that introduction. And yes, I do welcome firstly all the aspirants here from dqlab and many more, in fact, who are having a view at our particular session today. And would like to give you an insight about how AAAD colleges and what is that you can expect from our college. I'm going to share my presentation. Thank you. Yes, welcome all. And thank you, Dion sir and DQ Lab for giving us this platform to interact with your students and many more whom we can reach out through this platform. And Triple AD, as Dion sir was actually mentioning, we were at Kogilu Circle initially. There's an architectural campus which was actually initiated in 2015 in that particular place. But now from past 3 years, we've been moved into a standalone campus. It is an exclusive design campus that we have near close to Rajan Kunte. This is a place called as Sonelhalli. It's close to a very 3 acres of land that we have extensively been using only for design program. So currently we are running a Bachelor of Architecture as program here, and we intend to join in masters and many other only design aided subjects to this particular campus and make it stand as in a completely design aided school. And this is some 3D renderings of our campus, our building. And this is the actual. So this is the place, this is the building that we are kind of occupied, and due to pandemic time and things like that, it's been a time that just from last 1.5 years that we have full-fledgedly and flourishedly using this campus to our optimal use. And I would request everyone to please come and have a look at this, because as a design students, what is expected, because I've also studied in one such campuses before. If you are in a setup which is more serene, it has a peace of mind, it has a lot of inspirations that it can give to you, because as designers and as architects, we need a lot of inspirations from nature, a cool and calm mind. And in the rush in the cities and things like that, it's very difficult to, break ourselves from the mundane lifestyle and the running, day-to-day runabouts. It's very difficult to break ourselves out from that and come back and sit and cry and create and design something which is very nice. And we are so thankful for our, Triple AD management and Aditya Group's management who gave us this beautiful campus for us. And it actually gives a lot of spillover spaces for our students. Like as of now, you can see a lot of green patches here and there. This is just one part of it. There's almost 75% still more open spaces in and around the campus where we can spill around and use, our creativity, some breakout zones, and where we can have an informal discussions. All these things can happen in the campus. This is the current, as I told you, that in 2015 is where we started our architectural education. So these are the batches which we started off with. And now currently we are into the 2022 batch. So these are a few pictures to show our strength of faculty as well as students. 2015, 16, 17, and 18 batches. And definitely any institution's core strength is in their faculties. So we have our esteemed professor, our director, Mr. K. Ganesh Babu, as heading us as a director and principal, who comes with almost 25 years of experience. He's worked with a lot of eminent organization before even heading this. So few being one of the best is even Ramaya Institute, where he was part of them. And he brings in a lot of immense knowledge from his practice as well to our platform here with students to discuss and further move on. We have other few faculties who range from almost 40 to even 5 years of experiences also, because we also try to give platform to the newer architects and newer generations to come in and pitch in their ideas and their ways of thoughts, because every generation has its own ways of thinking. So we tend to have a bandwidth of almost 40 years of experience to 5 years of experience, where you can see our faculty core strength here. And there's a few more. And apart from this, so we have almost 29, 30 faculty core strength, and we have visiting faculties also. Visiting faculties is a very core requirement for an architectural college, because unlike any other engineering departments, where only in the 4th year you actually get to have an interface with the industry, in architecture, it's from first semesters itself, we tend to interact with the faculties who are in fact working with the industry. So these are all our industry partners. So they come into the campus, they come into our studios to teach us young minds, hands-on, hand in hand with them from the first semester itself, trying to give them a knowledge of what is actually happening outside and try to impart the same knowledge. And it just not goes as just a bookish, learning. Generally, when we tend to say and read, we tend to say that, no, college stuff is something else. And when we come out to the, outside working, it's different. Architecture is definitely not like that. And especially in our college, it's definitely not like that, because 25% of our strength holds in as per visiting faculties. It's also as per COA norms. And we stand by it. And that actually helps our students to bridge from education to the industry at the last lab. And in fact, I'm very proud to say when I say this, because when our students have actually gone out in internship programs and even have been settled as, junior architects outside, they have been very well accepted. And we get calls from a lot of, architectural firms that, is there any students who are interested to take up internship in our firms. So I'm happy that we are able to train our students to such an extent they become industry equipped to move further. So this is actually another strength of our college, where we have 25% as visiting faculties from the industry. One second, sorry. Yeah. So apart from, the classroom studies, we have guest lectures, where this is also a part of industry interface that we have. We call a lot of industry people to come and have lectures and impart their knowledge to our students. So these are certain programs that we generally have in every semesters. We'll have almost, the prominent, eminent architects in our city and even outside. We invite them, they come and talk to our students, talk about technology, talk about materials, or even any other discipline which an architectural vertical would require. So they interact with our students to unfold their knowledge to a greater level. So we have here certain people like Trilokachan Chaya, Alok Ranjan sir, Bivin Agarwal, Satya Prakash Vanasi. These are very eminent architects even in Bangalore. So we have invited them to our institution. So they have come and interacted with our students. Few more other than this is just not a seminar, which is a studio-based thing. We also have an hands-on experience that students can have with a lot of other materials, like, pottery workshop, thermocol workshop, little retractive facades. We even have origami workshops. So these help students to kind of explore their creative aspects in when a different material is handled. How creatively can you kind of handle these materials and come out with a very interesting product? So all these experiments or all these workshops are even handled at every semester levels in the college. Other than this, certain CSR activities like, we had blood donation camps, we have COVID vaccine drives. We had also even had, a flood relief program from our college. And we even have, some green campus initiatives. So which is more important as a human being and a citizen for a country. So we also have these programs which kind of facilitate students to broaden their horizon and to become more into an interactive persons with the world. And apart from this, we have our governing councils, which actually comes and guides us every year and every semester to see that we are working in the right fashion and what improvements can be made and how well we are able to even interact with the abroad campuses. All these are all being conducted in the other activities. Educational tour, I think you had a very good video before this, so I don't have to really say much about it, but that was one part of it. We have educational trips, national, international, even regional trips to understand how architecture flourishes, and it has been established because of the way the region is, the culture is, how the people are. So to understand all this, like chemistry, physics, maths, we don't have labs in particular where we have to get into a lab table and work on some, H2SO4 and things like that. Our labs is something which is there outside to us. We have to visit these places. We have to understand how architecture evolves because of people, because of culture, and that facilitates to all this educational trips. And this is where we stand, that we take our students to different places, and it's part of the curriculum as well. And more and beyond this, we facilitate students to understand the north and the east and the all directions where we can head our hands to. We try to teach them about the architecture. And one thing is, again, living in our own cocoon doesn't help us. So we even help our students to have an exchange program outside. So here we have even exchange programs with different colleges in Bangalore. And this was one of the program where our students went to Kuala Lumpur. And they had an exchange program there for 15 days. And our students got to learn a lot of things. They were also received certificates of participation. They were able to learn certain styles and interact with other architects in Kuala Lumpur. And they brought in a good amount of feeds for us and our juniors also from there. So we have a lot more programs like this where our students are sent to the other colleges abroad. And this is one of the crowning moment for us, that where our students actually participated in a Aurora Group Architecture College in Hyderabad. It was a conference, international conference arranged by them. And our students won the first place here, and we won a gold prize for sustainability in built environment. We worked on Devnhalli Fort here, and it was very well understood and applauded by them. And here you see one of our students and even the faculty is getting, recognitions for the same. And apart from this, we have our two students who have actually participated in zonals, and they have Zonasa and NASA are the two programs that we generally have for the architectural students. Zonasa is something which is regional, where students participate with different colleges. It's a 3-day or even 7 days events where students participate with other colleges and get to interact with them. And in such programs, our students have been recognized. Again, they have received various awards in these particular platforms. And one of our student, upon all his interest, he has been recognized for making miniature sketches of 7 wonders. This is nothing related to our campus or our academics, but with the knowledge that he has gained, he's done these small miniature sketches of the 7 wonders, and it is entered into the Guinness Book of World Records. So it was one of the very, very proud moment to us that whatever we teach, again, is not very much only directed to only architectural education, but students are able to take this education to next level and explore their strong fields and strong steps towards how they want to take it further. And these are certain numbers where you can see our results of batch 17, 16 and 15, all of it, where we have got 10% results, few definitely on few here and there. So these are the result programs that we have. We've received 10% results till date. And as I said, that every colleges here in Bangalore have these governing bodies, and we are also honored to have Mr. Alok Ranjan as well as Vidyadhar Odiyar sir as leading, minds to guide us and take us further into our college to a next level. So these are the governing body people who help us to, formulate and take our college to a right streams. And as well as if you see, we have Jaisim sir, Thomas sir, and Neela Manjunath as well. These people kind of help us in the professional front also, and try to see that education is always bridged to the professional end. All work but no play, it can never happen. So Cygnus is one part of our play, and that is our fest, a big fest. And we tend to have, explorations. It's almost 3 to 5 days event where we unfold ourselves to a lot of activities like culturals, and even the works that we have done, we present them to the audience, to the parents, and even outside people, so they can come and walk in and have a look at a lot of our works at that time. So we'll have displays of our work during that time. So this was a part of Cygnus 1 where you can see Mr. Alok Ranjan sir and Jaisim sir coming in and inaugurating our exhibition centers, and as well as having look at our students' work. And this is part of Cygnus 3, where Thomas sir and Neela Manjunath ma'am, where she's extensively works on the bamboo structures. She also came in and had a look at the students' work. And during this particular time, we even release our, magazine, the annual magazines. Generally, this is the time we release. So every year we release this magazine, which is termed as Fresco from our end. So we every, hands-on, if you're able to get a hands-on on these particular books, it will give you a complete idea of our annual work that you would have seen in our department. And these are a couple of pictures which has been seen that generally the first and the second year of students, this is the kind of work that is expected or will be done from the students in our campus. So if you see on the left hand side, it's a life-size model that we have tried to do with, with a miniature model of the Devnali Fort. And on the right hand side, about all other features that you see. So first year and second year is generally about understanding your interest and how creative you are. If not understanding how each student is, then we tend to kind of tune them and take them to a next level where the creative skills can be kind of taught them in a regular fashion. So this is what happens during the first 2 years. So these are some works. Same hands-on works other than whatever you have done on the drawing papers. Now how those things get kind of a 3D formations and other expert things is where you see. And the bottommost I want you to have a look at, it was actually a backdrop for one of the Cygnus event where our students itself made the backdrop with the paper. It was a very wonderful art that our students came up with. So this is what actually architectural design helps you. And it's not about just building designs, but if your interest and if you're creative and if it permits you, you can do any sort of designing. It could be a small product designing, as you see one of the girl is holding on to, the pottery mud and trying to do. It could be even painting. It could be even furniture design. All these things are, hidden courses or hidden talents that actually you get to know when you're actually even in the course, when you can just not at the end of the course, you'll not be able to just be an architect who can design buildings, but also have your own interest of such things. And one major hurdle that we actually faced was pandemic, and everybody faced, I'm sure, I'm definite about it. And during that time, every college was struggling to understand how to go about, the education programs. How is that the student should not feel disinterested about the program, and but we as AAAD did not take even one step back, and we suddenly started off with a program called as an incubation program, which was there before even when we were in the old campus. Like for every week ends, we used to have again eminent speakers coming and talking to us, but this became a very extensive and a very engaging program to us when the pandemic hit us. At that time, we used to have at least 2 or 3 speakers in a week where they used to come over and then talk to our students. They used to explain about their projects in their countries or their strengths and their way of working styles. So this gave students a much more bandwidth. And of course, it was at the time where people were literally getting bored and they didn't have any direction how to go about. Pandemic hit and we don't know what is the next thing going to be. So this kind of kept them engaging throughout the semester, and we even got a very good response for our students. All of them kind of liked and they were waiting for these incubation programs. So this were incubation series. And apart from this, we had a session called as an open day series. Now, if you are in the campus, it's very easy to just stop by to some class and just talk to your seniors or juniors and get to know, hey, how is the work going on? What is it happening? Are we just doing what kind of project? How do I go about? I'm stuck somewhere. But pandemic, it's very difficult. You're not seeing them personally, and to even effort to call someone and find out how to go about was becoming very difficult. So we had this open day series where a vertical and horizontal learning was emphasized. That is, in one particular day, we used to have all the 5 semesters top students to present their work to the whole college. So in one series, it's a first year, second year, third year, fourth year, and fifth year students would present their works. And this happened for almost 5-6 days. And they were able to actually understand what my seniors or what my juniors are doing. So we did not make them feel that because they're not in college, they have missed out on all these things. They were able to see what each and everybody are doing in the college. So that was part of Open Day series. And as a part of the Independence Day program, we had a 2-day symposium on independence and interdependence in architecture, where we had Professor Architect Gaurav Raheja from IIT Roorkee, who came in and had a workshop with our students. First day where he actually spoke with our students. Second day was an interaction. And on the third day, it was more about a panelist program that we had. So this was a particular program that we had with them. And apart from this, we even had our students exposed to the bamboo material as an alternate material other than the bricks and the steel and the concrete. There are different materials that even students need to get engaged, and they need to understand how they work. And we, Neelam Manjunath is one of the sorted out name when the bamboo construction comes. So we had invited her and we had series of sessions with her. And this particular is an alumni program. That is, when our first year batch graduated, we didn't wanted it to just our students to graduate and forget them, because most of the time that happens. And we went back to them and invited them back, and we wanted them to interact with their juniors and tell them the process of how they worked about their thesis project, because thesis project is the final, like a project that you have to do. And this is like, if you can see all the projects that you see, they just look like the buildings that can be built tomorrow, and they look like marvels also. So how to achieve to this level was somewhere our students, our alumni students taught our students, other than just not professors as us teaching, even as their seniors and alumni students taught their juniors in this particular program. And sports, and again, physical activities is that most important, where everything is there. So we have sports also as an element. So students have been actively participating, getting recognition. So they have been, badminton, cricket, volleyball, all these places there, students have been going and participating. And again, there was a program where it dealt with mental and emotional health issues in students during pandemic. So that was very important at that point of time, because being at home, how psychologically students were getting affected was another important issue that we all thought is like, is there a certain time, maybe a certain group of people are able to cope up and manage, but it's difficult when the majority of the world were not able to cope up and manage. So we even invited eminent panelists to come and discuss about their health issues and things like how to cope up during these programs. So all this was done. Even we had, when the college was running and the pandemic was not happening, we also had a personality development workshop, which is very important. Whichever field you are in, software, whatever, personality, development program is very important, so that you don't shy away from talking. You have to put forth your words. That's very important as a profession. So that was also taken. So we had certain motivational speakers to all these things. And here you see certain works of our students, the third and the fourth year in the thesis batches. So this is what will be kind of, when you work in architecture, unknowingly, knowingly, you'll end up doing projects like this in the campus, okay, in the college itself. And these are something that you'll again go end up doing even in the world outside. So this is how our students' works are. So yeah, the left one is a campus, and this is a high-rise building on the right-hand side. One of our students have attempted. And the left one is a sports complex. It's an international sports complex one of our students have designed. And the right-hand side is a hospital building. Definitely does not look like an hospital. But then, yeah, because that is how things need to change. Because as in when we move, we can't be having a glass building and, incubating ourselves into, the styles of glass blocks that we were seeing. It has to move to the current trend and style. And because of the pandemic being hit us, how things, even architecture is going to change. So this particular project, we have tried to reflect that with our student. And she was able to deliver a very good job in this. And in a fourth year, actually, what we do is, it's generally architecture is a course that, like I told you, in the first year, you tend to understand your interest and you tend to work with a very small scale of project. Second year, that scale becomes a little more bigger, and you tend to introduce and understand different materials and technology in a right manner, and you will start drafting and using things. Third year, like you say, you design a little larger buildings, like, hospital, campuses, all those things. Fourth year is something that is what is expected like this, that you actually design a complete region or a complete city. So this was an urban studio. So we say you do a complete urban study. That is what we say. So urban study is nothing but like, I take a small region. If it's a small town, you can definitely do a complete small town study itself. But this was a particular, if you can see the left side image, it is in Hebal, junction. And we tried to understand how the issues are there at the Hebal junction. So we try to understand the issues and try to give a design solution with our students. And that is what we did here. We're also planning to take these proposals to the government at 8th semester level, this is what I'm saying, this is what our students are doing. We're trying to give a solution to this and take this to the government and say certain proposals are very interesting and it can actually be taken into and as a life projects as well. So that is what we have attempted this time with our students in the urban studio. So they have done a very nice model, and at the bottom you can see Naresh V. Narasimhan from BA Associates, and he's again, VA is a very, very old architectural firm, and these are all like a very gigantic masters of architecture. So they have come in and had a look at our students' work. And yes, we had a convocation program for since because of COVID again, we had to they could not have a physical convocation with our students before, but just recently we concluded all our 3 batches convocation, which was very grandly done, and it was honored by Naresh V. Narasimhan and even Vidyadhar Wadiyar sir. All of them were there, and this is how we concluded our final year students with the convocation. And yes, it was also clubbed with our Cygnus Fest, which is again a very fun-filled fest. So this is the certain gang of our, as I say, the college and the students that you can see here. So all this that you see, even Cygnus and other part, is something that our students have done hands-on at college. And again, this thing, we also released our vaccines during these times to understand the pandemic times as well as the last year's work of the campus. This is what is being done. And after all this, very important thing is people want to know where do they get placed. Okay, as I initially told you itself, our students are so well already recognized during their internship programs itself. They get very well absorbed in the places that they are working. And we also get calls from many other firms asking for students because they're really trained well at our college. So these are few placements that you see our students have gotten to, like Menon and Menon Associates. Then you have even sometimes Atelier and all these important, very nice firms that our students have got placed in. And well, thank you for listening to me. And here are certain contact details of our director and even our chief administrative officer for any other queries that if you want to interact with us. There's an email ID where you can drop in your any queries to us as well. But definitely a call is an easy and a nice way to approach to us. And you can also walk into our campus anytime that you're free now and have a look of how an architectural college actually is. And it is so different from other departments. So all of you who are here are welcome. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. That was indeed a wonderful presentation. Here is a small introductory video of our college walkthrough to give a glimpse of our standalone campus and students' activities. That will be presented by Architect Siddharth sir. Sir, over to you. Siddharth sir.
Hi everyone, I'm Nagushri.
Hello, I'm Sama Hassan.
Hello, my name is Pratham Mahendra Varma. Hello, I am Dhananjay Sharma.
Hello guys, I'm Apurva from AAA second semester.
I am Channa. I'm pre-final year student from AAA.
had hand-on experience in the field, which was not only educational but also really fun.
The faculty members are really encouraging and motivating in academics and co-curricular activities. The lecturers help us gain practical knowledge.
AAAD conducted so many webinars and symposiums where on bamboo classes where we got an opportunity to interact with some great architects.
We have taken part in various workshops conducted by our college, which has been very helpful in our academics. There is a lot of exposure in this college.
We were certified as the best paper in the category of heritage and conservation, for which we won the gold medal too.
So like in first sem, we had like an amazing opportunity to go to NASA 2019.
Being in this college has given me more exposure to many activities like sports activities, cultural activities.
Greetings from Aditya Academy of Architecture and Design. I am Professor K. Ganesh Babu, Director AAAD, heading the institute right from its inception. Having been in the industry for more than 2 decades, I have a thorough knowledge of the industrial requirement, and that is how we mold our students.
This college has helped me a lot, and I feel happy to be part of this college.
I would like to thank our teachers who helped us out. AAAD is the best architecture college.
Thank you, sir. Now for an interaction and question answer session, I am pleased to welcome our Director and Principal of AAAD, Dr. K. Ganesh Babu, sir. He has sound exposure of more than 23 years to the field of architecture with an excellent combination of practice and academics. He has done a specialization in landscape architecture and believes in learning beyond the limits, and for the purpose, he has conducted several education trips within India and abroad. He has organized workshops and conferences as a platform for information exchange. His desire to mold the students of architecture in the right way for them to face the challenges of the future and the vision of the Aditya Foundation have taken a common platform to build the Aditya Academy of Architecture and Design. Over to you, sir.
Okay, thank you, Diksha, for that introduction. Yeah, dear aspirants of architecture, parents, dqlab and the entire team, I thank you for giving us opportunity to. I think you're free to post any questions to Mr. Dion so that he'll be able to ask the questions, and I'll try to answer them. So in the meantime, I'll just have a few words till you probably type the questions and send it across. As introduced, been in the industry for a very long time.
I'm not sure if it's my network or Dr. Ganesh's.
I think
Search network, yeah.
Okay, okay. So cool. Just so till sir comes back,
Yes.
let me just handle this. So just to let you know that we are on, the organizers are here on Zoom, and the students of the questions will be coming on from YouTube. Okay.
Okay.
But yeah, Dr. Ganesh, are you back? Seemed like your network was
Audible, I can proceed further.
Yes,
Yes, sir.
you can go ahead.
Sure, thank you so
I
much.
just thought I'd let you know.
So I'd like to have a reverse explanation. So I'm talking about the industry and placement first, before we talk about admissions and other things, which is probably the FAQs. Mr. Dion probably preparing the questions. Industry is the ultimate requirement for you people to get through this professional education, what you call as, the professional course. So what is the college going to do for you? College is going to teach you to get into the industry. For us, the VTU syllabus is only a guideline where, we cover the syllabus and, the result analysis all to keep you on track. But beyond that, we have so many things to be done for you to reach the industry. And having practiced for 20 years and still continuing practice along with academics, and I would like to also share with you that the present college, what you have seen, the campus was designed by me, and it's an opportunity given by the management to design the campus. So, the teaching experience. You step out of your house into the road, it is your learning experience. I believe in students moving out of the campus, not in studios, please. The studio shots were only for the formality. Our students get into the towns, cities, roads, villages, lakes, mountains, hills, whatever.
All right. I think Dr. Ganesh's network is a little unstable. Yeah. So I just pose some questions at this point. Right. So yeah, Dr. Ganesh, I'm sorry. I think there's some issue with the network, but I thought let me pose some questions at this stage.
The network issue is because I'm in this closed room and there's construction work going around my place. And there's so much of noise that I have to lock all the windows to reduce the noise pollution. And this is exactly how life is. When you want to do something, there's so many hurdles coming across, but we will not leave. We will get connected, reconnected. We're not going to leave. Mr. Dion, if you have a question, you can pose. Otherwise, I'll continue for another few minutes.
Yeah, I do have some questions at this stage.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah. So just to recap the entire structure that we saw of your presentation, it was very interesting because it started with the creative the infrastructure that you'll have there. There's some beautiful infrastructure we saw there. Then you all went on to the experience of the faculty. They seem to have a lot of experience there, and they seem to have a lot of diversity in that as well. And then you all went on to talk about the student experience, and that seemed to take a chunk of what you all were doing. So from what I see, paper submissions, the international exchange program, the travel, one of the students in a Guinness book as well. Cygnus, the festival of yours. Now, with so many activities going on, the question is, how do those activities really shape or mold the student, right? Shouldn't it be focused on their academics?
Very, very nice question, and I would really be very happy to answer this. In this field of architecture, what happens is opening a book and studying or giving a notes and studying is probably the last option what we have in the college. That definitely we will do them to study the lessons of life can be by them doing something. See, if you have seen one of the images where students had done the backdrop for the Cygnus Fest, you know, screen or something like that, or a printed banner, our students have done the backdrop with cardboard sheets with a module repeated 100 times and giving some sort of a shape with lighting and colors. That is not for an entertainment. Though it is an entertainment, that is not the goal, our goal. It's an entertainment for students, but for us, it is a learning experience. How the students coordinate among themselves and do that module, repeat that module, get it assembled on time, have the lighting, have the, you know, entire effort being displayed to the parents and, you know, their friends, the activity going on. So that is the learning experience. So when we have to actually, again, relating back to practice, when we have to do a building, of course, we have to do the basic drawings, but that does not end our profession. Coordinating with the contractor, client, X, Y, Z, getting the building into that shape is more than doing a PhD. So in architecture, we always have this argument that, you know, none of the architects have even I sake of the degree, but council and with due respect to all, being completed by an architect is he goes through so much, and Mr. Dion being practical, you may be knowing the stress levels of getting the building complete. So what we do is doing a magazine, for example, every fest we have at least one magazine, the fresco, and a documentation of the trip being released. So what happens in that? So students have to, there is a team of students who are called the editorial team with a faculty coordinator. So they have to shape the, you know, the complete booklet without any mistake, make it interesting, get sponsors, get photographs, organize it, configuration, print it, cost effectiveness, and get it released. That is a major exercise what they have to learn how to do it. So it is more like fun learning. So, and the entire, for me, architectural learning is fun. Architectural education is fun. And for us, every activity we conduct is a stress buster for us. So that is how I look at things. And except I think in every semester, 2 or 3 theory subjects are there, which are hardcore theory subjects. For example, the building structures, then probably to some extent, history of architecture and theory of architecture. They are hardcore, you know, theory subjects where students have to refer books, do some amount of memory, you know, exercise. More than that, history of architecture has got this sketching exercise, which is more important. And that will fulfill the, you know, academic purpose. And for us, academics is only 20%. Meeting the industry is another 80%, which we try to fulfill to a great extent with the excellent cooperation of all our staff members and the management, because all this again requires a lot of resource, manpower, people coming from outside, industry. So we are trying to meet the level best for our students.
Fantastic.
Hope I answered this.
Yeah, so amazing. So what I gathered from what you mentioned, that the academics is not neglected. The academics is definitely part of what everyone does. However, you're also shaping the personality of a student by giving them various experiences. Because I think the objective you mentioned is that, you know, being an architect also requires them to interact with contractors and you know, various people in the architectural sphere. And unless they are familiar with doing things, getting things done, getting things organized, that is part of their personality development, is what I gathered from that. Yeah. All right. All right. Fantastic. Travel. Now you spoke of 3 levels of travel, right? A regional travel, which is shaped by culture, to see how places are shaped by culture. The national level travel, to see it as a different level, and then the international travel, right? So how does that really shape the student by having these travel experiences?
I would appreciate
I think, Professor Ganesh, I think there is some disturbance with the network. So if someone could handle that, that would be great.
Shall I pitch in, sir?
Yes.
Sure, definitely, yes.
Sorry. See, what generally happens is, for your previous question itself, as this course definitely gives a personality development also to the students, which is important, which many courses ignore. Okay, definitely, if you look at any other engineering courses, they're never even into the purview to understand that, how much ever you teach them, if that person is not confident enough to talk to another person, put forth what is there in mind, it's very, very difficult. And our course is definitely different in that, where we allow them to open up. One is that. And when they open up, this is very important. They can open up, and they have to open up anywhere and everywhere they have to go in. So something which could be regional, something which could be national, something where our students also get into understanding international projects, gives them a platform to work at international levels. It also gives them platforms to work to different states in our own country. And even if you are able to understand one particular style of technology and things like that, that you want to explore even at the region level, the national level, international level, wherever the platform is, they should be able to open up and do. And exposure to us is just not like, small region. Now it's the time of connectivity. They have to know places. So that is where all these three, arenas we try to match to our students.
Just to add on a few more points, Mr. Dion, I've changed the network. Hopefully, it should be better.
Yes, much better. Yeah.
This regional travel is actually directly related to the design problem of that particular semester. All right. So every batch has got different kinds of projects, and each batch goes for a regional travel for 2-3 days, a short trip, for the purpose of design. This national level travel is a comprehensive, study and understanding, which does not happen very frequently, and it is not a mandatory thing also. But the regional one is mandatory for all students. The national level is based on affordability, and they have time in 5 years once they can go. And again, the international travel again is not mandatory, and it's optional. We give from first year to fifth year, at least, they may come across 3 to 4 different programs of international travel, and depends upon their time, affordability, so many other aspects where we don't force the students and parents to participate. It's on their, willingness. So that is how we are programmed, so that they don't lose out. Even if they don't attend the international program, the regional one is always there for them to, grasp and learn. That is how we plan it out. You can go ahead with next questions.
Very nice. Very nice. Yeah. The next question is with regard to your interactions with, we saw various guest faculty coming there, Dr. Vidyathar Vadiyar and Naresh Narasimhan, and all the Professor Jasim. So all these are the big names in the architecture world. Now with these experiences of these people coming in, how does that add value to the students that are part of your institution?
Let me just start off. We have had, for example, Architect Jason visiting us more than 4-5 times in our short span of about 7 years of our, college tenure. So what has happened is, in second and third visit, students become more familiar with the architect, to speak to them, approach them and all that. And they get inspired with the talents of the different eminent architects. For example, JSIM has inspired at least, I think, 3 of our students to get into the, the typology of their construction style, where, again, Satyaprakash Varanasi influences on his own cost-effective styles and all these things. So what happens, these are chances for our students to explore their interests, basically. If we have an architect from the interior field, for example, a person who's actually interested in interiors in his first, second, third year is interested in getting into their firm. So we are creating an avenue for students to get into professional training, get into contact with, know how the practice is, who are all the leading people. So it is an avenue creation, basically, creating them a contact. So once a student approaches these eminent architects stating that, sir, you had come to our college and I was inspired by your presentation, he gets an immediate appointment rather than going somewhere and introducing himself that, sir, I'm from XYZ and I would like to know about your office and all that. So that is another idea of, having eminent people walking into our college.
All right. All right. I think we have, gone past our deadline of time, but if we could talk about the admission process right now, that you'll need that for students to consider your school. So how does that work? Yeah, let's touch upon the admission process and probably the hostel and travel facilities to your school.
Yeah. So as you've seen, we have a new campus, which is a growing space. So this year we are coming up with the in-house hostel facility for girls. So the new building will be ready by another couple of months. But otherwise, our present students are actually staying in Rajan Kunte. We have a tie-up with the hostel, with the hospitality facility people. So from there, they travel through our college bus and at free of cost because it's a hostel student. Otherwise, we have a network of vehicles plying to different parts of the city dedicated for the architecture college. We have four dedicated routes plying in 4 different directions of the city. So our students depend on the college bus.
All right. All right. Right. So there are multiple ways of getting admission into the school, of course, the CT and then the SCOMED K, right? And then probably a management quota for those who would like to, who know for certain that they would like to join this school.
Yes.
So when it comes to the CT process and the SCOMED K process, are you all registered on both, and how many seats do you all have for each of those?
Yeah. 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 So this, I'd like to elaborate on the admission process.
Yeah.
So as the normal standards of Karnataka colleges, we have admissions through CET, so where we have the reserve quota of 35%. Comet K is also another avenue for our admissions. We have registered with Comet K also. And apart from this, we get admissions from management, for management students. All those students, of course, being NATA, all students viewing this is based on NATA. Once you have a NATA qualification, you can get registered, admitted through management quota. So all 3 avenues are open.
All right. And I'm guessing you'll accept the JEE paper 2 scores as well, right? NATA and JEE.
Definitely. Yes.
Okay. All right.
Yes. This year, JEE paper 2 is announced as a qualified paper.
Yeah, sorry. Go ahead, Dr. Babu.
NATA is mandatory, and this year, since JEE paper 2 is announced as another qualified paper, both admissions are taken for admission to architecture in our college. Yes.
All right. And yeah, so as soon as the JEE paper 2 scores are out, students please connect with the school and they accept that as well. So do you all have any contact numbers that we could share on the YouTube link so that people can, if you can just message that to me, I can share that as a contact, or if not now, later I could update it in the description of this YouTube video. So thanks once again. I think we've come to the end of the session, Dr. Ganesh. Thank you so much for taking the time out to be here. I know you've been dedicated to the school right from inception. All these years, you built it to what it is today. Professor Diksha, Professor Nandini, and Professor Siddhartha, Thank you all so much for joining in and supporting the school and being there for our students to know more about your school. Thanks a lot, and looking forward to more interaction with you all over the next few weeks. All right.
Definitely. Thank you.
Take care. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, Mr. Dion, for this wonderful platform and session given to us. And we invite all the students to have a campus visit to our college. We will provide the facilities of travel so that you can experience the college bus and the campus once. We will have an appointment later.
Yeah,
so thank you very much.
Yeah. So if
And
you'll
I
have
think
an
before
open
we
day, if you're not doing an open day, please do let us know so that we can share it with the students and they can come over and visit.
Sure.
Okay. All right.
Sure,
Thank you so
definitely.
much.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bye.
I think, yeah, we'll pass on to Diksha so that you can take up the conclusion part.
Sure, sure.
Sir, do we have time for a Cygnus video? We have a small fest video.
Sure, sure. We can do that.
So, in school days, a year-long event related to art would culminate as annual day. So it does in college life as well. I'm very sure one wouldn't want to miss out on the co-curricular activities, competitions, celebrations, and fun-filled events as an architecture student. Yes, I'm definitely talking about our fest that provides a platform for students to showcase one's unique talents and are important in the basic development of their personalities, providing a break from the monotonous routine of evaluation and academics. So before we end today's our session, here is a quick look at our celebration Cygnus. Siddharth sir.
what I saw in your exhibition hall. If that's the way your school is going, it forebodes well for the students who come out of here. And I must say that I am extremely impressed with the Dravidian architecture. One of my buildings got inaugurated and I got a lot of praise and all that. So I went went to a party after that, and a friend of mine who's a dentist came to me and said, "Hey, you're a very lucky fellow," I say. "You get all this praise for a building. I did a fantastic tooth extraction today and nobody except that patient knew about it." You know, ours is a public art. You know, we practice it on a much larger scale. It's so enjoyable. Every morning after, I tell you now, from 1962 to now, how many years? How many years is that? I don't know. Every morning I have to draw because I just enjoy it. So get that into your, get that creativity. I'm sure a surgeon, when cutting open a stomach or something like that, gets the same amount of thrill. But you know, what you do will reflect on the lives of hundreds. When I go to one of my buildings and I see the joy on people's faces, I get a huge kick out of
Thank you, sir. With this, we have come to an end of the session. Thank you, Mr. Dion, sir, and Swati ma'am, and the full team of DQ Labs for giving us opportunity to interact and for this lovely session. Thank you all for being with us and have a nice evening.
Thanks a lot. Bye. Bye.
Thank you, sir.